Bonjour, hello. Goeiedag, Dumela Legai. Linjani Salibonani, Magadi, Mulibwanji, Mulishani, Habari. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are on this earth of ours. Thank you for making the time to be a part of this very first new series of Get to Know Them. These are Ego Wings facilitators that we are going to dive into their lives to get to know who they are. Every day we interact with this amazing group of people. They give us knowledge, they impact, they give so much of themselves to help us to be a different kind of people, to think outside the box. So today's episode is going to be looking at one such facilitator. We're going to get to know who he is and what he's all about when he's not on the stage or when he's not doing what he does best in his own profession. My name is Candy Shinondo, and I am your host. So our very first facilitator that is able to join us today, and I am so honored that he's joining us, his name is Didier Mbayo. Didier, good afternoon, and how are you?
Good afternoon, Candy, and I'm very well. And thank you for affording me this opportunity to be the first to be on your series that you started about Get to Know Them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Didier. I mean, it's a very exciting moment for me because you are one of those amazing facilitators that is gone into partnership with Ego Wings. But apart from that, like I've said, people know you as the John Maxwell accredited speaker. So we get to see you on stage, we get to see you perform, and we also get to interact with you on a different note in your own profession. But today we want to get to know who Didier Mbayo is. So who is Didier?
Thank you very much, Candy, for that question. Yes, Didier is just a human being, like any human being. I am a father of 3 kids, and I am originally from DRC, and I'm still, a DRC citizen. So I moved back in South Africa back, I think, 19 or 18 years ago. And I'm a lawyer by profession as well. I work for an American company. I'm the head of legal. And I have 3 siblings. And well, that's pretty much who I am. Yeah, that's Didier Mbayo. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my goodness, Didier. Apart from just being this amazing speaker, you're a lawyer. How do you juggle that? You're a father of 3, you are a lawyer. How do you juggle that? How do you manage?
Well, you know that lawyers talk a lot. So it's easy for a lawyer to quickly around being a speaker and a lawyer. I think it's all about what I'm passionate about. And I like the side of being a coach and a speaker. And that's why being a lawyer, I've been a lawyer for many years, but there was something that I always wanted to do, which was to be able to help people, because I find my happiness when I'm helping people, when I'm trying to help people to see the potential and see the light in a different perspective, because most of the time people don't really see what they're capable of. So I really enjoy doing that.
That's lovely. You say that you have 3 siblings. Are you the eldest?
Yes, I'm the eldest. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's good to know. So apart from that, what does Didier like? We want to know, what does Didier like?
Well, I will tell you, I like traveling. I enjoy traveling, going around the world and going in new countries, learning about culture, about the way people do things. I also enjoy exercising, and I think exercising, the reason why I enjoy exercising is because it builds your mental strength. It helps you to be disciplined. It helps you to be consistent. And I also enjoy the massage. I like to go for a massage from time to time because it helps me to relax as well. And I enjoy reading as a person. I like reading and I like learning new things. So I invest heavily about my personal growth. I invest a lot to become a better person, a better person every day. So that those are the things that I like. And of course, I enjoy my family. I enjoy my wife. I enjoy my kids. I enjoy being around with them and having a great time.
Oh, wow. I love what you said. And the fact that you said you love a massage. Wow. I think you're the first man that I have heard who's literally said you love the massages. That's good. So you just told us about your wife. Is your wife a lawyer as well? What does your wife do?
Well, my wife, she's definitely not a lawyer. She's a business entrepreneur. She owns two companies. There is one company is a modeling company, and the other one is a clothing company. She make blazers. So she's an IT um, technician by profession. That's what she studied, but she decided to become an entrepreneur. So I have to handle an entrepreneur in my house. Yeah.
My goodness, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I hope you don't mind. Today we're diving in to get to know who Didier is. So here is a man who's a lawyer. He's got a wife who's an entrepreneur, and Monday to Friday is hectic. I'm just trying to know, how do you spend your weekends? What do you do? Today is a weekend, of course, when you and I and everybody else that's tuned in is listening to this. How does Didier relax? Because your job, from what you told us as a lawyer, is very hectic. You are a speaker. That's also pretty hectic. So you have these areas that need you to do a lot of research. There's a lot of work in it. You've got 3 kids. You're a dad of 3 kids. And also, being a parent is also hands-on. It's a lot. So how do you break down your weekends? What do you do for fun, for weekends?
Okay. Well, I think being a parent, being a lawyer, being a speaker, and being a husband, it's quite a demanding job. But the way I do it is I plan my week ahead. So that is one of the things that I've been doing for many years. So I plan my year ahead. I know exactly what I am supposed to do every day. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like when I need to pray with my kids before they go to bed, I plan it in my calendar. It's there. So I know that I need to pray with them before they go to bed. So I tick the box every day before I go to bed. I have to check my calendar and tick whether I have done the activity that I've set in my calendar that I'm going to do. So now when it comes to time with the family, exactly in the same way I plan my week, I also plan what I'm going to do with my kids over the weekend. Like last week, I think for Easter, we went to Sun City with them. So I just spent the whole day with them to Sun City. And the next day, we also spent time, we went somewhere, they played. So you have to be deliberate. I mean, when it comes to your life, whether it's professional, whether it's private, you have to be able to schedule your activity, because when somebody grabs your calendar, the calendar is an indicator of where you're spending your time, what is so important for you. So that's why planning for me is the most important activity, because when I plan, I don't forget. It's here in my mind. I will remember easily. So for me, I plan things so then that I can also assess myself in terms of where my priority are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. I picked out in you giving us how you plan your week that you are a person who's really about a process. You are about making sure that everything is planned for. And you said something in there. You mentioned God. So I take it you're God-fearing as I am, and it's lovely to hear you say that. So my next question is, how has God helped you in these challenging times? How has you reaching deep into your faith helped you to just navigate these challenging times? We are all trying to get out of it. I think for the very first time in a long time, all of us are having our heads above water. I think we can breathe a bit easily. So how have you used your faith to just help you and your loved ones to just stay afloat?
Thank you for that question. That's a very pertinent question. I think my faith stemmed from the fact that before even COVID and before whatever we're going through now, I have always been a person who heavily spent time with God. And I have worked a lot in that area. I think it took me probably 2 years or 3 years to build my faith, to believe that whatever I'm seeing now, it's temporary. It shall pass. And I believe that God's plan for each one of us are amazing plan. I think in Jeremiah 29:11, he made it clear.
Yes.
The plan and thought that I have for you are for you to have, he says, to have I think there is a word there. He says, an expected end.
Exactly.
So God wants us to have an amazing life. That is God's purpose for each one of us. Mm-hmm. Now, the question is whether you believe it. That's where we go. We now get to the area of faith. Because this is what he says. His statement will not change. And this is what he says about, he shows his love. But now, do we believe that? That is now a matter of me or you now exercising my faith. And unfortunately, I mean, the majority of people, they will read it, but then they will not believe it because they will look at the current circumstances, what is happening. And of course, they will say, no, but if God really exists in the middle of this chaos, how can I face this situation? Well, whatever situation we've been through, there is always a seed of greatness. It depends on your perspective about the situation that you're going through. Every situation that came to you, to come to me, always have a seed of greatness and an opportunity behind. It depends just on your lecture of the situation that you're facing. Now, I think from my perspective, during this chaotic time, I remember when, we were in completely lockdown, I had the choice to either fear or believe in everything that I've learned about God and put my faith into action, because that's what it is. And that's what God expects us to do. We need to put our faith into action when we face storm. And that is exactly a kind of storm that we faced last year until today. And I know, I mean, sometimes when I say it, people look at me and say, well, we've lost lives. Really, I'm really send my condolences to everyone who have lost their loved one. I really empathize, but we need to understand that we have to exercise our faith and believe that these too shall pass. As long as we take our, we make sure that we take all the measures, we follow all the protocol measures, we sanitize, we wear the mask, but we need to understand that whatever we're facing now happened in the past. There's been big crises in the past. There's been financial crisis in the past. And we don't even know in 2 or 3 years' time whether there will be another meltdown. The question is, how strong are you as a person? Do you starve your fear or build on your faith? That's the question. You have a choice, because as a human being, one of the things that we've been gifted with, we have the choice to decide on which side of the fence we want to be. If we want to live in fear, we live in fear. If we want to live in faith, we decide that we want to live in faith. Now, all these things are within the parameters of our control. And I choose myself to be on the side of faith. One of the things that I did was to stop watching news, not allowing myself to be flooded with news, negative news, even on my phone. So I choose deliberately to stand on the side of faith and understand that whatever is going on now, there is also too much publicity from the media. There is too much emphasis because there is, yes, the disease is there, but for like any other disease, there's been HIV, there's cancer that is killing people. There are so many diseases, but why do we have to put a lot of emphasis on COVID? Because of the media, because all of us, we learn about this and we became scared because of the emphasis that came from the media. The media has been out there talking a lot about COVID. So, I mean, honestly, for me, that was an area where I had to show God that I believe in Him. Powerful. I hope my answer makes sense. Yeah.
No, I mean, thank you so much for being open and honest enough to share with us how you used faith. And I think these are times where all of us are really trying to understand just how to, to navigate, how to dig deep. And as you shared about faith, I think you can speak to anybody, and it doesn't matter what religion one belongs to or, what they believe in. During COVID, in the first days, we all were taken to that level where we needed to dig deep and just believe and hold on to whatever it was that one believed in. So thank you very much for that answer. And I think you've sort of taken us to the next question, which is the last question of our conversation for today. And I just wanted to ask you, to say, the whole world has been hit by this pandemic, like you rightly alluded to in your answer with faith. So a lot of people, it's a pandemic that nobody saw coming. No one knew how to navigate it. I think all of us have been learning through it, and we're all learning. There was no script for it. So with everybody, people like yourselves, you've been, advising us to think and start to think outside the box, to have a positive mindset, to do things differently. So in closing, my last question to you, and I'm sure all our listeners and those that are watching us as well are wondering, how are we supposed to navigate ourselves through COVID? What can you advise them to do in your expertise as a speaker that you are? Please, if you can just give us, some advice in closing.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you so much for that question. Well, COVID is a crisis, like I've said before. It's a crisis, and crisis, we face it in our day-to-day lives. That's one of the reality. We face crisis in different forms. And what can help you to set yourself apart when you have a crisis is your attitude, the way you see the crisis. It's very, very important. You see, crises come in different forms. You can have a health crisis. You can be diagnosed with a terminal cancer or whatever. Or you can have a financial meltdown. You can have a huge, for those who are in business, I mean, you can go into a business joint venture and it doesn't work and you lose your money. Mm-hmm. The question is, how do you get yourself back? Mm-hmm. Because that's where your strength and your ability to navigate the crisis will come from. Now, how strong are you on your inside? And this is where we going back to, what is the purpose? What is it that you expect from life? Life will always throw things. You will always go. There is no way you will go in life without facing challenges in different forms. And COVID has been one of the big challenges. The question is, how do you reinvent yourself from a business perspective? Let's talk about a business entrepreneur. What do you do during a COVID crisis? I'll give you I'll share a story. My wife is an entrepreneur, just like I say, I have my wife. And when COVID hit, because she was in the modeling business, the first reaction was, I don't know what to do. The borders have been shut down because she usually sign agreement with companies in Europe and America. So those companies usually use a model for advertising and so forth. Now the border was shut down, and now there is no way she will get a revenue because everything is now putting out. Now she even told me, I remember at that time, she told me, well, I will take some time just to sleep and relax. Then I say, well, there's no time for you to sleep when the borders are shut. So what are you going to do now to reinvent yourself? Because when a crisis comes, it's always a sign for you that mm-hmm. you need to look at things differently. And hopefully and fortunately, she decided to reinvent herself by creating this clothing line. And she's doing very well. But the idea came during the COVID crisis. Other people would have gone and start mourning, I don't know, my business is going to shut down. It's again an attitude problem. How do you see things during a crisis? Determine the outcome, how you're going to navigate the crisis. So as a leader, for those who manage people, a crisis comes, you have to understand that you will not be able to face the crisis alone. You need people. And the people that you manage also need to see a strong leader, need to see someone who's not panicking, but somebody who knows exactly where he's heading. And you also need in the process to tap into the potential of your team, get ideas, and put everyone on the same boat and say, we are all in together.
Yeah.
You need to show empathy, you see, as a leader during a crisis. You need to bring hope in people. You need to give them word of encouragement. So the same apply for a father like me in my family. I have to bring hope in my family. I have to tell my kids, my wife, that it's gonna be okay. But for me to be able to do that, I need to be strong enough in me. And because they look at me. Remember, whether I say it, but if my actions, the way I behave, does not display someone who's confident enough that things will get better, they will not believe me. Because they will probably tell me, no, Dad, whatever you're saying, I see the way you're behaving, you look like someone who, does not walk the talk, and you look fearful. So you have to understand that you need to get the right perspective during a crisis. A crisis is always a sign that something needs to change. Look at what happened. Nobody could have believed that we would be now having meetings in Zoom, using all the other social media to communicate. But companies have managed to do that. Companies have managed now to cut down on business trip. It's a huge saving for them. Companies have managed now to cut down on the expenses on leasing offices. So there's been a good side in this crisis. Yes, we've lost life, but this crisis has created a different dynamic where we're heading now. We need to understand that the way we were doing business maybe needed a change, but COVID came and forced the change because there were people who were holding, not wanting the change, but now the change has happened. So there is always a good side to a crisis as long as your perspective is different. If you start mourning, if you start looking at a crisis as something that is just, you don't deserve and your life is now a mess, it's again, you will decide the outcome of your life. That's unfortunate, but it's for all of us a great opportunity to learn from the crisis and learn to be strong enough, because when you eat with a crisis, whatever mental state you are, whatever situation you're facing, if you realize that you're not strong enough, then it's a call for you to now improve in that area. Be strong, be more stronger, and be able to handle a crisis. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you so much. You have. What a lovely chat. I mean, it's amazing how quickly time has gone through. So Didier, again, I want to say thank you for being the first on opening our series. Thank you for being the first that we're getting to know in our episode 1. Thank you so much, Didier, for making the time.
Thank you so much, Candy, for this opportunity.
So to all of you, this is the first of our episode. This is episode 1. I shall be back next week with another speaker. So please tell everybody about it. Join me again next week. My name is Candy Shinondo. Thank you very much. Goodbye, good night, good day.
Bye-bye.